Clear. ठीक है Sir, PPT is not clear.
I'm trying to see that. I think it's clear. The words will come out clear.
Is it okay now?
I think it's all right. Let us hope that as you begin the second, could you, I wouldn't like you to show the second slide as yet, but then I think it will be all right.
There's a problem in second slide.
The worry is that it's slightly dimmed. I don't know, is there some overlapping or some?
Okay, I think let's get started.
Go ahead, sir.
Compliments to you for organizing this forum. And I also thank you for giving me an opportunity to be with you all today. I'm acutely aware and conscious of the fact that I'm talking to school leaders and teachers who are doing a great job. And I start my presentation by saluting you all. At the same time, I dedicate this session of mine to all the teachers who, including my drill instructor and PT Ustad, who helped me become what I have become.
Unmute yourself, please unmute yourself. There was some noise. You will have to unmute yourself. That's right. Go ahead.
Okay. Let me start by painting a scenario. I call it scenario 1. It's a kind of a wish list for the students who are above higher classes in the school. It's also a dream for their parents and a hope for their children. What is the wish list like? That the students who score good marks then go and attend a fancy institution like IIT, then hopefully go to US of A, do his MBA from a higher end university, then get employed by an MNC company, then also try his hand at, shall we say, a startup company, make his million, get married, have children, live in a 5-bedroom house, having fancy cars, and live happily thereafter even with his mother-in-law. Well, that's a scenario which everyone thinks is workable. Yes, sure it is. I have a problem again. Just a minute.
You'll have to click twice on that. Double click. We'll move the slide one more.
Yeah, scenario 2. Scenario 2 is actually a real case study of Karthik Rajaram. He almost followed the script. Guy was born in South India. Went to IIT Madras. Went to...
Unmute yourself, sir.
Did his MBA from UCLA. Got a job with Sony Pictures. Changed job with PwC. Again changed job and become a startup. Earned his million. Got a 5-bedroom house. Married. Had 3 children. And well, he was living hopefully happily thereafter. But there was a catch in that. Because he invested heavily in stock exchange. And in that, what happened? He lost his job. He became unreliable. His last employer fired him after 10 months, and said he's unreliable, he's unpredictable, and he is not getting along well with his people. In came 2008, and he lost all his money in the crash over there. And one fine evening, he picked up the gun, shot his wife, 3 children, mother-in-law, and himself. Terrible thing to happen. Next day, the newspaper splashed 5 murders and a suicide. It was a terrible thing to happen. I have a problem with this over here. Now, California Institute of Clinical Psychology, they studied his case and they concluded that Karthik was programmed for success and not trained for failure. This caught my eye. Do you train anybody for failure? Even Professor Hunt doesn't run a program on how to fail and keep smiling. There are no books written fail without tears. Everyone is looking for success. That's when I started working on this project. And what I'm sharing with you today is the power of failure. What is commencement speech? Like we have over here, a convocation address by a worthy person coming to the university. Commencement speech is a speech given by a well-known personality in the universities in the United States. I randomly chose or came across these 6 commencement speeches
Everyone, I'm Rita Sharma from SLB.
people of United States of America. I must confess, this program or my session was actually designed for audience in America. So I have chosen American who's who. If you don't know, let me introduce Steve Jobs, co-founder of Apple, the most valuable company in the world. Tim Cook, the present CEO. Bill Gates, the co-founder of Microsoft, and for a long time, the richest man on planet. Mark Zuckerberg, the co-founder of.
You are watching here.
Sorry.
I am muted all. Please unmute yourself. Some participant has please unmute yourself, dear sir.
Okay.
Right, sir.
Oprah Winfrey, media mogul, personality, the richest Black American in Black African American, shall we say, in North America, a billionaire in her own right. J.W. Rowling, of course, you know, the author of Harry Potter. Now, all these people, they gave their speeches at 2 Ivy League universities in America, either Harvard or Stanford. Their speeches were phenomenal, very inspiring, very interesting, very incisive. All the graduating students loved that, and their parents. But there are a few observations that I have. None of these great personalities were actually graduates from those Ivy League universities. Of course, quite a few of them are very famous dropouts from there. So one message comes: to be a celebrity and a great success, you don't necessarily have to be passed out from a great university. Second thing emerged, most of them were not really high academically performer. Though there's nothing against academic excellence. Some of them were brilliant academic, but you don't have to be brilliant to be reaching the high echelon of success. Third thing, not all of them when they spoke about failure. Their failure. All highly successful people often speak a lot about their failure because they know the power of failure.
अच्छा चलिए मैं नीचे से ये हटाऊंगा.
I have this issue again and again. And I won't enlarge my thing.
देखिए ऊपर इस वक्त था ना, अब मैंने हटा लिया.
Okay. Now let me move show you some quotes. Can somebody help me? Some quotes. Michael Jordan, we know, he says, I have missed. How many times in my career I have lost 300 games, 6 times I was trusted to take the game winning shot and missed. I have failed over and over again. That's why I succeed. Failure is not falling down, but failure is good as long as it doesn't become right. Success or failure. Anji sir, मैं की कर सकता हूँ दसो मनु.
I am muted all, sir. You unmute yourself. Go ahead, sir. I am keeping track of the chat box also. Don't worry, sir.
Okay, I am told the screen is not clear. Is it?
It will get clear. I'll find out an alternative. You go ahead, sir. It's not very clear. Okay. It is one can read it with a little effort.
Okay, I'm speaking anyway. So the few things emerge from these quotes that failure gives you an opportunity to succeed, like Michael in success or failure. This is by Rowling. It says some failure in life is inevitable. It is impossible to live without failing at something unless you live so cautiously that you might as well not have lived at all. You fail by default. Now, come on, I've talked about failure, don't get me wrong. I'm not glorifying failure. There's nothing glamorous or romantic about failure. In fact, there's everything terrible and shattering about it. In fact, people look up to who are successful and look down upon people who are failure. But it is inevitable because nobody has ever learned how to ride a bike without a bruised knee. Let's see, what is failure? Now, failure is not achieving your goals, A, or losing an opportunity. Loss of an opportunity is failure too. But it's a vast subject. For talking to a group like this, my focus is
unmute yourself again, sir. Please unmute yourself.
failure. No, then it becomes unmute. Okay. Failure is experienced by your students and children, maybe by parents and teachers as well. So what I'm sharing with you is not ultimate one size fits all model. Every one of us is different and everyone's failure is different. But this is a suggestive methodology or a route map that I'm sharing with you. Now my focus is on this triadic relationship: teacher, parent, student. As teacher, you interact with student and parent, you are counseling the parents, you are mentoring the students, and if you are a parent teacher two in one, then you have a dyadic relationship. Now before I come to more discuss about failure, let's see what is success. I have a somewhat of a flippant definition, which goes something like this: at age 4 it is not peeing in your pants, at 12 having friends, at 18 having driving license, at 25 getting married, at 35 having money, at 50 having more money, at 60 still having being married, at 65 having driving license, at 70 having friend, at 80 not being in your pants. So you notice one thing: success is not a one-shot affair. It is not age restrictive, but only the students can fail. You can keep failing till the age of 80. And if you notice, every success that comes either at age 4 or at 80, there are failures before that. So let me put it like this: would be the measure of success. By my way of reckoning, the ability to bounce back. That means recovery from failure. If failure is inevitable, getting up from that is what is required. Now, World War II is a great example of defeat into victory. In fact, that's the title of a wonderful book that Field Marshal Slim wrote about Burma campaign. If you notice, Germany, Italy, and Japan were having a ball of a time in the Second World War. They started it, and they're giving a pasting to what came to be later known as Allied forces. But then a time came, Allied forces turned the table. They really turned the defeat into victory. It took them time. They had to pay the price. Ultimately, they were winner. Victory Day was only a few days ago. 75 years ago, that feat was achieved. Turning defeat into victory or failure into success. How does a child or a student react to it? I put a question mark because I don't know. Because every child will have a different way to react to it.
Like me do anything
But one
else.
person feels sad. But one have a disbelief.
बहुत
They say it is
कोशिश
not
करी,
fair.
then the idea
But then
that
damn it,
can
life
be
is
that
not
I am
fair.
very
Who said it is meant
Therefore,
to
everything
anyway?
information that comes to me comes to him
Some people
also.
will say I want to give up.
तो
Some
automatically
children will
decide
say,
होके अब आएगा आपको वो information. We are I think 440 के करीब हैं.
come back with
अभी ये
renewed way.
450 जूही 450
I
टच
think there is
करेगा.
so much of
तैयार
talk.
है
Can
टच
I
करने
request
को.
somebody? Hello, sir.
टच
Hello.
करेगा 450 पे गैलरी भी जरूर ले लेना.
अंडू सर,
Right.
अंडू जी थोड़ा धीरे, आपकी बात मुझे डिस्टर्ब कर रही है. But importance of being teacher. Do you realize how important the teachers are? At least I do realize. Because if I ask somebody who won the Wimbledon in 2017, chances are they won't remember. Who are the beauty queen, the Miss Universe in 2018? Nobody would remember. Which movie won the best Filmfare award? They won't know. But if I ask them who was teacher in maths in your school, they will remember, because I do. Who was your English teacher? They remember. So that's the importance of teacher, that is you all. Let's see how do you and parents react to their failure. How do you react? I have no idea. Chances are you are also sad. You could be angry, could be feeling guilty, and there could be many more feelings. It is hard to put them together. But let's look at it, your role as a parent or a teacher. You need to ask yourself a question: are you an ally or you an adversary from the child or the student's point of view? Now let's look at this. If you say, I'm so disappointed in you, I told you so, you are not taking it hard, like seriously. You never listen to.
Unmute yourself, sir.
Now, first these words threatening, then they are okay from now on. First they were, then they are again threatening. Okay, from now on I will do this. I'll make sure you do this, and then again I have this issue.
Oh, no worries, sir. Now it's all right.
Then you can start saying you are smart, but you don't pay attention, or you start comparing with others. And let's see what's going on in the child's mind. In this situation, you are coming out as an adversary. Child gets confused because he has to work on his goals if he has made any, or your goals. Remember, he is also sad. When you react such intimidating manner, it hurts his self-esteem and also his self-confidence. But irony is he wants to please you as a parent and a teacher. With the result, he gets so confused, he doesn't know what is his goal and what is the goal that his parents or teachers have for him. Now, that's your role. If remember, failure is part of the game. We all know that. But for that, you need to have empathy. Empathy is the most used and misused word. What is empathy? One simple definition is putting yourself into the other chap's shoes. My question, can you put yourself into the other shoes with your shoes on? Answer is no. The message is, if you want to understand the feelings of the other person, that is your student, you need to put your feelings on the whole. You can never appreciate the feeling of the child if you are angry or you are sad yourself. Now, key to this is communicating with a child who has experienced failure is communication. As a professional trainer, I get maximum requests for conducting programs on communication skills, presentation skills, or handling difficult communication, because communication is the key to success either in the classroom or in the corporate world or in the family. Let's look at the scene. What is the first thing that a child learns when he is born? When he is born, we cut his umbilical cord and give a whack on his bottom. He cries and everyone has a laugh, all is well. But the child has just made his first communication with the world by crying. Before he gets his language, he is communicating with his parents by crying, and parents know the style of crying. Child has a different kind of cry when he is hungry, when he is wet, when he is in pain, or when he simply wants your attention. He is communicating, and parents do develop empathy for him at that stage. The key to communication is actually what you say, how you say, when you say. Some said entire Mahabharata happened because of a flawed communication. When Duryodhan slipped on a slippery floor, Draupadi said, "Andhe ka beta andha." Duryodhan said, "I'm going to get you." And that is what started the entire Mahabharata. It may be oversimplification, but the fact remains communication has a role as to what you say, when you say, and how you say. A guy goes in the church and he asks the priest, "Father, can I smoke while praying?" Father says, "Oh, come on, son, that would be sacrilegious." Next day, his friend goes to the church and tells the priest, "Father, can I pray while smoking?" He says, "Of course, son, you can pray anytime." It is the same event, but how you say made the difference. So is the situation when you are interacting with guys that just experience failure. But whatever you say, the message has to be clear. It is all right to fail. If you have failed, we can't do anything about it. But it is not all right to be failure or remain where you are. If you are coming as an ally, you remember you are not playing the game. The child has to play the game. You can only support him, help him in learning and working, setting his goal, his plan of action, and help him put the plan of action into action. There would be pitfalls which may require course correction, and let him handle it. Last two sentences are most important by my way of reckoning. Let the child take responsibility for his actions and let him face the consequences. Remember, you're not preparing the child only for the exam. You are preparing him for the life. And these two words or these two lines are very critical for him to take responsibility for his action and face the world. Points to ponder for teachers and parents. Are you too ambitious about your children? Are you influenced by peer pressure?
1 minute, sir.
Are you driving your kids too hard?
1 second, sir.
Helping?
Sir, please unmute yourself again. I had to mute again. There were people who came in. You will have to unmute yourself, sir. No, sir. No, sir. Not unmuted as yet. I can't hear you. Huh.
Give me the, where do I see the icon?
That's right. That's right. On the right-hand side of your screen is a red torch light.
Not muted. It is not mute. It is
Oh,
not
now
mute.
it's unmuted. Now it's unmuted. I could see that.
It's getting on his own. In every situation, the child or the parents are sad. So let's see what is sadness. Sadness is the emotional pain that you carry for the loss of something or someone special or an opportunity. You were expected to become a principal. You don't. You are sad. You have a beautiful flower vase which somebody presented to you, and your neighbor's son knocks it off and breaks it. You put up a brave front and say, it doesn't matter. But my God, it does matter to you. You are sad. And if we lose someone near and dear, it's a shattering experience. It can take a long time to recover from it. The sadness can take any of these forms: grief, sorrow, gloom, self-pity, melancholy, dejection, despair. This is a matter of grading the sadness that you have. If you can't handle it, then you could get into depression. And then, when you are sad, typically you are not excited. You don't want to go to a party or a dance or something like that. You don't have enthusiasm. You avoid people. Your body metabolism slows down. And that's when you withdraw, you look at the reality and change in your new life. How do you cope with sadness? Elizabeth Kubler-Ross, a Swiss-American psychiatrist, in late 60s worked a lot in Chicago hospitals with terminally ill people. She produced a wonderful book called On Death and Dying, which was path-breaking because it was a subject nobody had written about. In that, she had mentioned about how to cope up with grief. Along with a co-author, David Kessler, she wrote another book called On Grief and Grieving, Finding the Meaning of Grief Through 5 Stages of Loss. Well, I have been quite impressed and influenced by these 5 stages of loss that these 2 great authors have written. So I'm sharing with you 7 stages of sadness and see how it helps for us. Shock and denial, pain and guilt, anger, withdrawal, upward turn, reconstruction and work through, acceptance and hope. Now I must make a disclaimer here. These stages are not linear. Somebody may not even go through these stages. He is not upset, he is fine. But others could go lock, stop and in a lopsided manner. Some people may just skip a stage. Some people may combine the stages, and that is why. Let's see what happens in shock and denial. First reaction to fail is, how could I fail? I was to come the first. It doesn't come. Denial of the failure. When you deny, you are in a comfort zone. Shock also provides you an emotional protection because it shuts your ability to think. You are not thinking, you are simply shocked, like a deer in the headlight. Pain and guilt. After shock comes the pain. You haven't got a choice. You got to experience it. That's how you are building your experience. Guilt feeling or remorse takes over what you did or you did not do. Anger. Why do you get angry? Typically, people get angry when unfolding of events or behavior of people around them is not as per their mental specification. So what I call mental specification is the benchmark that you have set for yourself. Let's do a thought experiment. Imagine you are 12 years old. You are going in an unreserved bogie in train from Delhi to Agra. As 12 years old, you jump into the bogie and quickly occupy a seat next to the window. Would you do that or not? I guess you would. Your parents join in. Then you have a problem. You have an 8-year sister who slowly comes up. She looks at you. She says, I want to sit there. You ignore her. She says, again, you say, forget it. She nudges her mom. Mom still doesn't give any care to her. Then she starts crying. Mom tells you, let her sit over there. You bravely say, damn it, I came here first and I have occupied the stage. Is she? You are right. Your mom says she is younger to you. You say she will always remain younger to me. You are right again. But your mom insists and you give the seat. You're very angry. Bahut nainsafi hai. Now let's move fast forward. You are 42 years old. You are now traveling with your 16-year-old daughter by plane. Who will sit next to the window seat? Chances are your daughter will sit. What has happened? As 12 years old, you had a mental specification of looking at the outside scene and teasing your sister that you didn't see it, perhaps. Now, as 42 years old, you want to have Give the experience to your daughter to enjoy the scene. Sorry, कुछ हो रहा है? Angry could
We don't hear you, sir. You will have to unmute yourself. Sir, unmute yourself. We didn't hear the last sentence. That's right, sir.
Okay. You realize the true magnitude of your failure and loss, what could be its consequence, then you start thinking about it, what has happened, what you could do. Then comes the upward trend. Now there is a difference in the behavior of your sadness. In fact, from now on, positivity starts. This point, one comes to terms with reality. But you are not clear what to do as yet. Then reconstruction and working through comes. In that, what you do? You start seeking realistic solution and what could you do to get out of the current state of affairs. Then is acceptance and hope. That is when you learn to accept and deal with the reality of your situation. Well, power of failure comes from handling of sadness at these three stages. More concretely at these two stages. That is reconstruction and working through. That's when you think, what went wrong and what went right? What next? Okay, let's get cracking. So at this stage, as parent and teacher, you help him to set his goals, not yours. Help him to make his action plan, which he can commit to, not your action plan. And help him to put that action plan into action. And then you support him. He will need two kinds of support. One is emotional support. Well done. You didn't do it or you need to do it. Second is technical support. In case he doesn't have something wherewithal, providing that for him. Now at the seventh stage, learning from failure, that means acceptance and hope is, now you are learning from failure. You realize that in a race, there is only one winner. And every day is not Sunday. After Sunday, Monday is bound to come. Now, have you done your best? This is the first interjection that you need to ask your students and teachers. I have put it in slightly highlighted. Why? Because this is the best input you can give to your student and your children. This is the actually speaking philosophy of Gita. Karmanyeva adhikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana. It means you have a right to put in your best. You must jolly well put in your best. But what the outcome will be, you have no control on that. Somebody was better than you, which is all right, accept it. But ask yourself a question, have you done your best? This is a great input, a philosophy of life that a child can take in to lead his life. Learning from his mistakes, that's a great experience. And another thing you learn is humility. When you are always a winner, you get arrogance. When you kick the dust, you get the humility. And you also learn the importance of perseverance, because this doesn't come in one go. We all heard the story of King Bruce and the spider, that Scottish king who was given a beating by English king 6 times, and he retreated to a cave where he saw a spider building a web. 6 times the spider failed, 7th time he won. So he also said, maybe it's time for me to go back again. Rest, as they say, is history. So power of failure gives you following thing: acquiring the ability to bounce back, ability to persevere, lage raho munna bhai, losing arrogance and developing humility, and ability to change yourself. Now, it is irony. All of us want to change the world. We can't. The only person you can change is change yourself. I will give you an exercise. If you are a gentleman and if you are watching TV in the evening with your wife, try and change the channel. Chances are you won't be able to change the channel even. If you can't change the channel, you can't change anyone, but you can change yourself. Why do you need to change yourself? Because your change will become infectious. When you change yourself, your student or the children will also change. They see the behavior. Now here is a riddle. I am your constant companion. I am your greatest asset or heaviest burden. I will push you up to success or down to disappointment. I am your command. Half the things you do might just as well turn over to me, for I can do them quickly, correctly, and profitably. If I am easily managed, just be firm with me. For those who are great, I have made them great. Those who are failure, I have made them failure. I'm not a machine, though I work with the precision of a machine and the intelligence of a person. You can run me for profit. You can run me for ruin. Show me how you want it done. Educate me, train me, lead me, reward me, and I will then do it automatically. I am your servant. Who am I? Any guesses? Well, I am a habit.
Time.
Sorry?
Mind. Sir, it's mind.
Okay, I call it habit.
Put
because
those,
first
put
you
those
make a
answers
habit.
in the chat box, please. Put those answers in the chat box. Sir, just a second.
wha-
You will have to unmute yourself, sir.
Okay.
Unmute
Okay.
yourself, sir. Unmute yourself, sir.
I'm unmuted it. But
That's
we call it the DS solution. That is the directed staff solution. I am a habit. That is the correct answer. First you make a habit. Habit makes you. Anything done becomes habit. Remember when I showed you the quote, I said I'm going to come back to habit and attitude. Attitude is also a habit because what you do repeatedly becomes your habit and becomes attitude. Both these have a great role in either you are becoming failure or success. Now, these three great stalwarts we are all familiar with. Albert Einstein, he couldn't get admission into Zurich College of Engineering. He failed. Thomas Edison, we know, he was dropout at 8th class. His teacher said he took him out, and he has the maximum number of inventions to his credit. They say when they were working on how to light a lamp, the project was not moving. His team came. He said, "Sir, we have tried 10,000 or 1,000 methods of lighting, and it is not working. Let's drop it." He said, "No. We have learned 1,000 or 10,000 ways of not lighting a lamp. Let's try another one." And they would light. Colonel Sanders was no colonel. He was a middle-aged guy, only knew how to cook chicken and he was looking for a job. He went to about 1,000 people showing his, they all discarded him till he started on his own and KFC became a history message. They never gave up. What was that? That was their attitude. Now, I'm talking about few instances where people produce wonders, in not in absence of their problem, but in spite of them. Beethoven gave some phenomenal
నువ్వు వాక్
Western
వచ్చి బోర్ కొడుకు మన వీధిలో ఇక్కడ
1 minute, sir. 1 minute, sir. I am muting all. You will have to unmute yourself. Aroraji, can we see the screen? Can we see the presentation? Because my screen does not show the presentation. Dr. Arora,
I can see it.
Sir,
You
we
can-
can
you-
see it.
you can see it, then it's all right. Then it's all right, please. Sir, go ahead, Doctor. Sir. I'm sorry, sir. No, everything is fine, sir.
Okay.
Only
Milton, he couldn't, but
Unmute yourself, sir, again. Here, you will have to unmute yourself.
show me
That's
the
right.
icon.
That's right. I'm sorry, sir. This will happen. Because every
Okay.
new person who comes in, he begins by talking and welcoming others.
Let me talk about Roosevelt. Roosevelt was president of America during Second World War. After the Pearl Harbor happened, there is a movie called Pearl Harbor. I wonder if you guys have seen it. If you've seen it, there's a scene when he is having his general, marshals, admirals, and everyone who is who in front of him, and he's wanting a quick retaliation against Japan. That's when everyone says, "Sir, it can't be done. It can't be done." There's a powerful scene that president sitting in wheelchair is getting up. When somebody wants to help him, he says, "Leave me alone." He tries to get up and says, "Don't tell me I can't." Now,
प्रियांश आजा बाहर आजा बाहर चलो
that is what the attitude is. Closer home. Rabindranath Tagore never went to a college or university, but created his own university. And the Nobel laureate.
क्या चीज क्या
India.
चीज
Amitabh Bachchan. All
Sir,
India
would
Package ka?
sir, just a minute, dear sir.
बताओ क्या
May I
बोल रहे
request
हैं
all the participants to please not unmute themselves.
अच्छा क्या
I
है
will have to mute them
बता
now. That will be bad on my part, muting somebody. Please mute all. Arora ji, you had been requested that you would be attending to that.
Okay, let's move on.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Amitabh Bachchan, All India Radio felt he didn't have a good voice, and Bollywood thought he was too lanky. And he did both these things to laugh his way to the bank still. Nandan Nilekani, they say, couldn't make it to IIM, and thank God for that, because he co-founded Infosys. which is a great company, and he is a billionaire in dollar terms in his own way. Ravinder Jain, he did not have Kumsi, but he produced great music. Sudha Chandran, we know, still dances when she can't really dance because she has lost her foot. You know who is Fauja Singh? He's 104 years old, runs marathon. And Mankor, let's see if this works.
सरदारनी मान कौर पटियाला पंजाब, उम्र 103 वर्ष। आपको चंडीगढ़ का चमत्कार के रूप में जाना जाता है। आपने एथलेटिक में आश्चर्यजनक रूप से सर्वश्रेष्ठ उपलब्धि हासिल की। आपने अपना एथलेटिक करियर 93 साल की उम्र में शुरू किया। आप फिट इंडिया अभियान से जुड़ी हुई हैं। आपने कई वर्ल्ड रिकॉर्ड्स भी तोड़े हैं।
Important point is she started her athletic career at the age of 93. This is all in the mind. And we at the age of 60 start planning for our retirement. Yeah. This is fine.
No, beta. No, I can't hear you. No, beta.
The video and got the message written over there. The word he said is, our job is to make music with what remains. There's a great philosophy in this. First of all, we are not living in a perfect world. And we all are in the center stage of our life, playing the violin of our life in which something is broken. All of us have something broken. Question is whether we are playing it with power and passion to make it happen. And that is the rule for success or failure. That is the power of attitude. Now, do you have that in you? Why am I talking about attitude? They say, doctor, heal thyself. If you're going to influence your children, you need to have your attitude right first, so that it will start with you. Question comes, can you change your attitude? Good news, yes, it is trainable and learnable. Bad news, it is not easy. It is iterative, time consuming, and need persistence and a whole lot of patience. You may have to change the course. It is always learned by a self-directed learning. This term is used extensively by people in the field of education. Here the concept of self-learning is, you will decide what you need to learn. That is need analysis. That means what is it that you want to change? What attitude or habit you want to change? You will decide the pace. You will decide the methodology. You will decide the evaluation. You will also decide whether you have succeeded or not and give it a pat to yourself. Celebration. Talking about self-directed learning, I'm going to share with you what I have chosen to call these laws of learning. They will help you to make a mind. First law is the law of necessity. You will learn only if there is a great felt need. If you don't feel the need, you are not learning. An exercise, you've connected with people, you have enjoyed yourself, you had good time and time to have a cup of tea. Second law is the law of readiness. The more you learn, the more you realize how little you know. Very powerful. When you realize that you don't know too much, you get the ability of humility. You can never learn with arrogance. In any case, one lifetime is so grossly inadequate to learn even a fraction of what is worth learning. Third law is that you cannot learn what you need to learn today. This is what I call the law of learning. It is highly operational when you are doing self-directed learning to make changes in your habits and attitude. Dr. Avtar Singh reminded of my story that I will start telling about it. So now that he has given me a cue, I will share a story with you. Story about a guy who gets married. He invites his friends home and he offers them a drink. Then he tells his newly acquired wife to help make some snacks. She walks into the kitchen and starts frying some pakoras. But she's taking too long. This guy walks into the kitchen and notices he's frying pakoras in a kadahi, which is only 1/3 filled with the oil. He says, honey, why don't you fill up the kadahi with the oil till the top? Your charge of pakoras is bigger and faster. The lady is not amused. She says, out. The best pakoras are made by my wife, my mother, and that's how she makes it. Now, newly acquired person wants peace at home. Bichara dum bahar aa gaya. But he was wondering why not. So over the weekend, he goes to his mother-in-law along with his wife and promptly announces his intention of having pakoras made by his mother. In your country, son-in-laws are unnecessarily pampered lots. Mother-in-law walks into kitchen and he follows her, the same story. He says, Mama, why don't you fill up the oil till the top? You will do it faster. Mother-in-law is not amused. She says, son, best pakoras are made by my mother, and that's how she makes it. Now you don't pick up a fight with the mother-in-law. Poor fellow, he came out. But he was still wondering why not fill the oil till the top. After a few weeks, he nudges his wife to go and visit the Nani. They go over there. Nani is Maha excited. Who visits Nani these days anyway? So visiting, having her granddaughter come, her newly acquired husband was thinking great. So promptly announces, Nani, we will have pakoras made by you. Old lady is Maha thrilled. She walks into kitchen, and then when he follows, there's a twist in the tale. Nani is frying pakoras in a kadahi, which is filled with oil till the top. He says, Nani, are you annoyed with us? He says, why? He says, I'm told by my wife and my mother-in-law that you make the best kind of pakoras. She likes it. He said, but I'm also told your best pakoras are made only when you keep the oil level at 1/3 level of kadahi. Nani's turn to laugh. She says, son, level of oil has nothing to do with quality of pakoras. When your mother-in-law was growing up, I had only one kadahi because I wasn't very well off, and it had a hole at 1/3 level. So to avoid the oil spilling, I used to keep the oil level low. Enjoy your pakoras. Now you see, it has taken 3 generations to unlearn what could have been unlearned very early. Fourth law, and perhaps the critical law, is the law of action. Unless you learn to act on what you have learned, you haven't learned anything at all. Friends, we are not in the business of intellectual entertainment. We are in the business of helping each other to develop and grow. And that can only happen when we take action. For that, I'm going to request you to resign your membership of NATO. No. NATO is not North Atlantic Treaty Organization, because even India is not member of that. Thank God for it, nor are you. But chances are you are a member of an organization called No Action Talk Only. If you resign it, you are action driven. Now I'm suggesting learning methodology. Forgive me, I'm not using any imported methodology, no Bloom's taxonomy. It is purely indigenous and it starts with Shravan, that is listening. I hope you all are listening. Second is Chintan. I hope it will set you thinking. Then Adhyan, that means study further if you require. Next is Manan. It's a painful state, Manan. When you are contemplating or doing a kind of a gap analysis, you are doing manthan, churning inside. That is when you will decide what you want to do and how you want to do. Then is Karam, your action. Then comes Abhyas. Because Rome was not built in a day, nor will your habits be built in a day. You need to practice. What you practice, you become really good at. If you practice abusing, my God, you will be a great abuser. If you practice finding fault with others, you will find fault even with Lord Almighty and the nature. Now they say if you do something for 21 days, it becomes your habit. No, nothing sacrosanct about 21 days. This 21 day was decided by surgeons who were providing artificial limbs, got adjusted to it in 21 days. Lot more research has been done on it now. Now they say it can take anything from 21 to 60 days, depending upon the habit we are wanting to change or unlearn or learn, and your own personality and your commitment to it. And once you do it, rest they say will be fine. I'm coming back to J.W. Rowling. As we know, she is a billionaire, highly successful author, but she started with a whole lot of failures. She married young, she had marriage failed, she was a single mother. All that she knew was how to write, and her writing wasn't much of a success. When she wrote Harry Potter, was rejected by 12 editors at different publishing houses. All editors were smart guys. They knew what is good writing and what is bad writing. Then by chance, she gave it to Bloomsbury Publishing. Their editor was Barry Cunningham. He reluctantly took the manuscript and passed it on to Nigel Newton, his boss, or MD of Bloomsbury Publishing. Nigel reluctantly took it home and kept it on one side. Then one day, his daughter, 8-year-old daughter, Alice Newton, came to him just to bother him when he was busy. He reluctantly said, "Okay, Alice, read this." He gave her the manuscript given by Rowling. Alice came running after a short while. He said, "Papa, do we have more of this? I have never read anything of this kind." There was a twinkle in Nigel's eyes. Her manuscript was accepted. And a billionaire was born not by the effort of an erudite editor, but by the decision of an 8-year-old girl. Now that's the element of chance. Element of chance, or call it luck, plays a big role in your failure or success. Let's not underestimate it. Malcolm Gladwell wrote a book, bestseller, Outlier, many years ago. Studied the most successful people, and he found there was a great element of chance in that. He found all those people who were born between 1950 and 55, when they grew up at a time when IT opportunities were coming up. All these guys who became later on the super czars of IT world in America were billionaires, were born at that time. Reverse is also true. A whole lot of people born at the end of 19th century and beginning of 20th century perished in First World War and Spanish flu. And much later, a whole lot of people who, matter of chance, great authors, singers, just couldn't show their work because they were killed in Second World War or in what they call concentration camps. Jim Collins has also written a book on studying the companies who were called good to great. When he studied the top leaders, a whole lot of them attributed their success to chance or luck. They were honest to admit luck. There is a book called Success and Luck, written by Professor Robert H. Friend, Good Fortune and the Myth of Meritocracy. By doing research, he is saying in every success, there is a great element of luck or success. Coming from army background, I know it from my combat experience, how much of luck plays its role. Don't get me wrong. I'm not suggesting that you need to become fatalist. I'm only suggesting that we need to realize the element of luck or chance plays in our success and acquire the right amount of humility. Let me go back to Karthik's case study. I think California Institute of Clinical Psychology made a mistake when they said he was not trained for failure. Wrong. He was not trained for success. Karthik was not able to take his success. He got too much of his success too soon, became arrogant, unpredictable, and outrageous, and he met the fate. What is more important is to handle success. You will all agree with me. There are many great people around, great scholars who never will be noticed, great authors who will never be published, great teachers who will never get an award, but their students love them. They are great musicians. They will never be known. Great social workers who don't hog the limelight, but doing a great work. So I wish you all roaring success, and may you have the ability to have your success correctly bared with due humility. Finally, live humbly. There are great people around. Now I'm open to any questions if there are any.